Welcome back. We are on the fifth and the final episode of this panel discussion. And as you all know, the sustainability transformation is very much dependent upon the way in which the leaders lead that transformation. And in this panel, we will hear from the panel members what is their advice to those leaders. Now, if there is a particular advice for the leaders in any industry, because at the end of the day, I always say that the intent at the top makes that big shift, right? And if there is something which can really push that intent, and if you have to kind of give that specific advice to somebody, what it will be. This is a common question to each one of you, and maybe I can start with you, Trinity, and move to the others.
Sure, thank you. I think if I was going to just only have one, because I certainly have a long list, but if I just had one, I would say, don't be the organization that thinks that things aren't changing. Because if you are unaware of disruption, you are surely the one being disrupted. So bring your skills, bring your team, your intellectual capital, your assets, your expertise, your industry, and reimagine what's possible for the future of your organization. Because if you aren't, somebody else is already doing it for you. And so it makes good business sense, and it makes good sustainability sense. So these two things are no longer mutually exclusive. So reimagine your business for what your customers, your suppliers, and everyone else around you is also trying to do, and imagine what your opportunities and your possibilities are, and be the disruptor and make the change, and secure the future health and viability of your organization, but more importantly, the planet and humankind.
If you are not changing, change is happening to you.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, can be short. I think there is a lot of creative collaboration that is required, and it needs to get into conscious competence of each one of us in the organization, and it is extremely strategic and important that it gets there. So, like Trinity said, be the disruptors and use all your creative intelligence to make the difference.
Jenny?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to echo what my colleagues have just said, being that example, being that thought leader, being the model for which others in the industry can use as that guideline, and really being the agent of change. This is not just a necessary evil or administrative overhead. This is a differentiator for us, and providing to our consumers of how we are sustainable, and how we're good for the environment, how we're good for our vendor partners, and providing a sustainable environment for them, their workers. That really is important for us, and that certainly would be my guidance for others that are earlier on in their journey towards sustainability. Is take that leap, because there certainly are benefits to being that.
Yeah. And Sudarshan?
I think I echo all the leaders have said, but this is kind of my dream, right? I think only the elite knows about sustainability. When I say the elite, it's the top, even people working in the higher regions. You have to educate the general public. My wish is that just like how you have math, physics, chemistry in high school where it's a must topic, sustainability has to start from the beginning in high school and middle school. People need to understand. You can't just, make them count. Again, that's my wish. And that will be my message, because that can change the world, right? It doesn't have to be the VPs and the CEOs who are making the decisions. But can you imagine the younger generation coming out and saying that I'm not going to use a plastic bottle at 12th grade. I'm going to use this. That's kind of the message I would like to give.
No, no, very, very pertinent because I have written a blog on that saying that the way climate change is taught in the schools is as a science. I'm not against the teaching the science part of it, but it also, you need to also start teaching the change which need to happen. And otherwise, it just remains of the science over there. That thank you for that. And and when Sudarshan said that I need to reach the small, medium enterprises and all those kind of people, Vicky, you deal with a lot of them, and I know that you have some programs in terms of taking it to the supply chain, which includes the micro, small, and medium enterprises as well. So, what would be your advice to some of the leaders in that segment?
So I think we have to train ourselves to view sustainability as part of our design and technology and other processes that we are engineering, and not as an add-on. So it's not something that you add at the end of the day, but it has to be part of what we're doing. And also, going back to what Sudarshan said, there's consumer behavior that has to be adapted also. Give you an example. I go to my local gym and, we talk about so much over recycling and sustainability, and all we find are disposable razors and cups and towels that people like grab like 10 of them. See, the whole process that you said about school children not using plastic bottles, that has to translate to the rest of the community, and there is a cost you pay for being sustainable, and we should be willing to pay that.
Thanks. And when he mentioned, it should not stand out. I was just thinking icing on the cake. It's not the icing on the cake, but the cake itself. But I know that's not the kind of ice you deal with. But yes, what's your cool message to the leaders on this?
Santosh, I think so pretty much summing up the everyone is saying it has to start with a stronger awareness, absolutely. But tied with the reward recognition. I think humans are tied with the reward. We love rewards, and let's leverage our humanity component of that and tie the stronger awareness and the reward recognition, number one. Number two, the reusing, the recycling, and the energy efficiency has to be part of our everyday vocabulary, has to be part of our every decision we make, has to be part of the beginning of our decision making versus the end of the decision making, right? So that has to become who we are as a fabric. And third, I think Venki mentioned that earlier, we have to do more with less, but we have to do more and better with less. If we don't drive more and better, then we will continue to deplete the resources available to us, and we will leave nothing for our future generations. And finally, be the change. Be the leader, drive the change versus being the follower.
More for less and less for more. Very nice. Thank you. And it has been wonderful, speaking to each one of you, and it has been quite a good learning, hearing from each one of you, your experience and your thoughts as well. And we really look forward continuing this legacy of the Sustainability Panel Roundtables. So that's it from my side, and I will meet you all with another roundtable. And to this panel, as I said, it has been so wonderful to have you in the panel and to hear your thoughts. It was quite a learning for me, and I'm quite sure it is going to be a good learning for the viewers as well. Thank you.